Hi! So I've done quite a few videos on classic mixing tricks in this series already, but the quintessential technique is still missing. And so far I've shied away from it a bit on purpose, because I thought, well, why would anybody watch a video on this technique again? But while doing some more research on it, I found that there's actually quite a bit more to it than I thought, so I think you can learn something too. For example, have you ever heard about the Pultec technique on guitars? Yeah, so let's go! Now, the Pultec EQP-1A is probably the most famous passive tube equalizer in existence, and it's known for its big bottom and silky high end. A new stereo pair from Pulse Techniques can cost you close to $10,000, and if you're looking for the vintage stuff, well, you better save up some more. Fortunately, there are also cheaper clones, of course, and there are also many brands which make a plugin of the Pultec EQP-1A. So let's have a look at the project that I'm going to use for this demonstration, which I quickly recorded yesterday. It's an 8-bar loop with just guitars, bass and a drum set. And it's just a basic rock beat, and I did a quick rough mix yesterday. Let's have a listen. Okay, a very basic rock beat. Now, before I'm going to do any Pultec tricks on this project, let's quickly look at the Pultec equalizer itself. Like I said, this is the UAD version. And on the bottom right here, you can see Plugin Doctor. So you can see what the controls actually do. Because these three controls over here belong together. You can select the frequency that they act on, and you can boost that frequency quite substantially, as you can see in Plugin Doctor, attenuate that frequency, and you can also see that even though this is now set to 20 Hz, it starts boosting, well, at 500 Hz already. And if you turn the frequency up, you can see that it quickly goes higher, and set to 100, the boost already starts at, what is this, 5000 Hz? So it's definitely a band which is quite broad on the bottom. Now these three controls over here control the mid band. You can boost it, select the frequency, and also determine the bandwidth of this one. And then on the right side you have two controls which you can use to attenuate high frequencies. This is the frequency, and this is how much you want to attenuate that frequency. And of course, if you switch the frequency, the attenuation will move to the left on the frequency graph. Now the basic infamous Pultec trick is with the three controls on the left side. Let me show you. Because what you can do on typically a kick drum is give it a big fat bottom without making it too muddy. That's basically the idea. So you can get the big fat bottom by boosting the low end, currently set to 30 Hz, but again, it's boosting much higher than that. And that's also the problem of this boost, because it's boosting so high. A boost like this will quickly get muddy. But fortunately, you can also attenuate that same band at the same time, like this. And then you can see what happens is that there's actually a dip in the low-mid frequencies. You might think that this boost and attenuation, which is about the same at the moment, will cancel each other out, but obviously that's not what's happening, because this actually provides a very desirable sound. Let me show you. Let's take the kick channel over here and solo that, and have a quick listen without any Pultec EQ on there. Yeah, so it has some processing on there already, a bit of a low cut and a bit of a mid cut with Pro Q3. And I have some compression with a DBX 160 from Waves. Let's now enable the Pultec and see what that can do. So let's first boost the low end and see how that sounds. Yeah, so you can hear that that works, but the sound does get a bit woofy due to those low mids. And the classic Pultec trick is now to also attenuate the same frequency so that you get that low-mid dip on the spectrum. Let's check that. So that really cleans up the sound of the kick a lot already. Let's check the difference, starting without. Yeah, so I think you can hear the difference quite well. Obviously the level goes up as well due to the boost, but it's mostly the change in frequencies which gives it that much nicer character. Now the frequency of the low end boost, you can see that I've set it to 30 because it actually boosts quite a lot higher already, and the main frequency of this kick is around 50-60 Hz, but I feel setting it to 30 sounded best for this kick. Now another thing which you can do at the same time on this kick, and that's not the Pultec trick, but that's a move that's quite often combined, is that you also emphasize the click of the kick. And for this kick, that's around 5 kHz. And then we can boost that with this control and maybe make it a bit wider. Let's have a listen. Yeah, depending on what kind of music you're making, this click can be louder or less loud. But you can tell that you can nicely emphasize it with this control. Now let's listen to it in the mix. I'll start without. Obvious difference, right? Next up, let's see what we can do on the bass with the Pultec trick. But before I do that, if you like this video or find it useful at all, please give it a big thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm so that it gets shown to more people. And you can also subscribe to the channel to help me with that, and ring the little bell icon so you get notified when I publish another video. If you want to show even more support, you can use the super thanks button below the video, which is a virtual tip jar, or use any of the affiliate links in the description if you want to purchase anything at one of these stores. If you first click the link in the description, I'll get a small commission on your purchase without any additional cost to you. But let's get back to the Pultec trick. This is the bass guitar with just some basic processing on there already. A bit of multiband compression on the low band to keep the low band as constant as possible. And additionally some broadband compression with the LA3A. And let's see what the Pultec can do. I've set the frequency a bit higher because I want the focus frequency for the bass above the kick drum. So let's try it at 100 Hz. Now let's first listen to the bass without the Pultec. Already contains quite a lot of low end actually, but let's still boost it with the Pultec. Let's not overdo it, but let's listen to the difference. Yeah, again, the level is louder, of course, due to the boosted bass frequencies. But I also feel that it's getting a bit woofy. So let's try the Pultec trick again to dip the low mids a little bit. Yeah, I think that works quite nicely to clean those up as well. Let's listen with and without. And let's listen to it in the mix with and without. Yeah, again, a lot fatter with the Pultec trick in there. And next up, let's try the Pultec trick on guitars. But this time we're not going to use the Pultec trick on the low bands of the equalizer, but rather on the two high bands. Let me show you that in Plugin Doctor first. Because for those distorted guitars that I have in the project, it's always nice to boost the high end a little bit. And let's make it a bit broad. And if I now boost the high end, you can see that it starts way lower than the 8 kHz that I've set over here. It starts around, well, 1000 Hz already. And also it goes up way higher. So the band is pretty broad. And that can also cause the guitars to go a bit brittle. So again, at the same time, we can use the attenuation. Let's set it to 10K over here, which will bring down part of the high end again and actually cause a bit of a dip over here in the low highs or high mids, whatever you want to call them. And since that frequency can also be a bit nasty on guitars, it can be quite nice. Let's have a listen. But let's first have a listen to the guitars in solo without the Pultec. And those rhythm guitars actually already have some processing on them. For example, a Pro Q3 here, which dips a lot of the low end. And again, an LA3A for some compression. But I've put the Pultec on the group channel over here. So let's see what that does when we actually boost that 8K broad. Let's listen to it. Even a full boost doesn't really sound bad at all. That's the nice thing about the Pultec highs. Also easy to go overboard with them, of course. But let's still add some attenuation there to sort of tame them again a little bit. Now let's listen to the guitars with and without. Yeah, really night and day, right? The first part of that really sounded muddy after you heard the high boost. Let's listen to it in the mix, starting without. Yeah, to me, it sounds better this way. But let me know in the comments what you think and whether you knew all of these 3 variants of the Pultec trick already, or whether you learned something new. Now, if you like these kinds of videos on classic mixing tricks, I have a whole playlist of them over here. Have a look, enjoy, and see you soon.